Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got in a multi-tool to take a look at. This one's coming from Mossy Oak and the model is the MO25001. This one's using a decent steel on the knife blade and the scissors, has a G10 handle, and is very budget friendly. So stick around if you want to learn about it. We'll do a real quick unboxing. We'll go over all the features and specifications. I'll show you guys all the different tools on it. We'll probably put some of the tools to use and then I'll give some thoughts on it. So I think this is the first knife of any kind that I've had from Mossy Oak. I know they sell this in like major retailers. There is a QR code there. Not a whole lot of other information, but let's get cut into this and see what we have here. Alright, so it looks like some type of manual up on top. I will check to see if there's a warranty on that, and then that's going to show us some of our tools there. And then we have the multi-tool itself. Give you guys some close-ups before we start going over everything, just so you can kind of see how everything's tucked away. I know typically when I think of a multi-tool, I think of something like a Leatherman, that there's two sides. They open up to reveal a pair of pliers. This Mossy Oak is basically like one side of this. Again, still a lot of tools, very capable, but you're not going to get the pliers with this, but it is significantly lighter. So I can tell you guys that the knife blade and the scissors are using 5CR15 steel, and then it has G10 handles here. The rest of the tools, I'm not 100% sure, but I can tell you it's definitely some type of metal. It's not aluminum, so all this stuff is metal in here. Grab you guys some dimensions here. I'm going to go to the very longest spot, and we are at 4.2 inches. Our width is 0.8 inches, and depth of it, or thickness, it's also about 0.8. Let's grab a weight on it. We're at 4.6 ounces. Let me grab that Leatherman, see what it is. 7.9, so about half the weight, but again, it's kind of half the size. So let me try to quickly run through and show you guys some of the tools here. This is our knife blade. It has a 3.12 inch blade on it, and again, using the 5CR15. That steel is easy to sharpen. It's actually a pretty durable or tough steel, and it's very, very like corrosion resistant. This is using a liner lock for that blade. You can see it right there. So we're gonna press that to close. We'll see how it snaps over there. Let's check out blade play. Actually very, very good, almost none. And here's a quick shot of the Leatherman knife blade compared to the Mossy Oak. So the knife blade was on one side, and then the scissors are over here on the other side. Looks like you can reach in there like that and grab those. And it does look like there is a liner lock for the scissors as well. Let's see here. Sometimes you gotta pop this out. There we go. So now it just locked in place there. And these scissors are massive. Some jimping right there on that side. I'll have to see how these cut later, but wow, those things are huge. Let me grab the Leatherman. So I don't know if the cutting area is that much bigger, but the actual length of them is. The Leatherman has like this little, almost like thumb shelf. That might be a little more comfortable if you had to do a bunch of cutting. And then just like the knife, we're going to push in on that, and then that will allow these to close. And before I get out these other tools here, I want to show you we do have a glass breaker. It's like a ceramic bead that's right there on that tip. We do have kind of like a tape measure down there. Looks like it's inches and centimeters. We're gonna have a pocket clip over here. It's fairly deep carry. Looks like it should go down to about right there, so you'll have that much sticking up out of your pocket. One other quick thing with that pocket clip is it is detachable. You just push in on that kind of liner right there, and then the whole thing pulls off, and I believe it's reversible. I think you can put it on one of the other ends or just not use it at all, like if you just want to drop this thing down inside of a pocket or bag or something. But yeah, you can remove that. All right, let's see what all we have in here. So it looks like there's going to be at least 3 or 4 tools here. This one, I believe, is a box cutter, and then it also has a wire stripper on it. And then this here is an awl. I've never used these on any of my multi-tools. You can actually use this as a knife blade as well, or a box cutter. But it's really designed to like puncture through fabric like leather or jeans and stuff like that. And then that's like a thread loop right there. And then this other one here looks to be a can opener. And finally, this other end is going to have a couple tools on it. Let's get them pulled out. So it looks like our screwdrivers are here. It's a pretty positive engagement right there, but it's not liner lock on that. So that's going to have a Phillips head there. Then you can pull that out and have a flat head. I will say this stuff is really greasy right now. So this obviously only came with this one bit, that's reversible. It's very, very skinny. So I can't tell you if somebody else makes additional bits for this or not. And then the last tool in here, that's kind of stiff getting out of there here at first, is a rope cutter. All right, so let's try doing some sharpness tests like right out of the box. When I do the paper cutting, I'm going to use the knife blade and I'll use the scissors. When I do the index card, same thing. Cardboard, I might use the knife blade and that cardboard cutter. We'll just kind of see which one does the best. That was surprisingly very, very clean. That was me just going slow on purpose just to see what it would do. Yeah, that is a super clean cut. Very impressed with that. Index card up next. This is like twice the thickness of a normal index card. It's more like card stock. This is where I can really see how clean a knife cut is. What I do is I look along here to see how many like jagged edges it left. And this is actually, again, very, very good. Yeah, this blade's actually decent on this, right out of the box. Up next, we got some fairly thick corrugated cardboard, still in knife blade. And I also look to see like how hard I have to push through to get through this. Again, very, very clean. I'm going to try these scissors here, just again, copy paper. It does give you a pretty decent cutting edge there, like the length of it is pretty good. Let's try this stuff here. I'll even try the cardboard with it. Yeah, I will say, like, if you had to do a bunch of cutting, that the skinniness of that could kind of get to your thumb, but they cut really well. Let's also try some rope with these scissors. Yeah, no problem at all through that. Let me try this other stuff. This is a lot tougher to cut through. Probably make a mess here too. Those did really, really well with that. A lot of things cannot cut through this rope. All right, up next we'll do the box cutter and that wire stripper. I didn't show this earlier, but those do lock into place right there, and you have to press that down to release it. But it's a real solid lockup, and that's what that little thing is right there. So the tool is there, and that little thing is actually just so you can have something to grab onto to pull it out. But let's check out this wire stripper here. Let me try to go in there a little bit deeper. I don't know what gauge of wire it's supposed to be able to do. It's not making it all the way through this here. This is like it's got 3 different wires in it. I'm just trying to get to that sheath there. Like, it took a bunch of the chunks off of the sheath, just not all the way down to those wires. So when they say box cutter, I'm honestly not sure if they mean that it cuts cardboard boxes, or if it means just for like breaking down cardboard boxes, like cutting the tape and paper tape and stuff like that on it. But I'm gonna try it with some cardboard and see what happens here. It may not go through it all the way. I mean, it cuts through it and breaks it down. It's just, maybe it's just me not pushing hard enough to get through it, but yes, I'm not 100% sure if you just like break it down like that. As far as that all, I don't really have any fabric to show you guys it, but again, it's used for leathers, thick denim. Again, you can put a thread on here and basically just poke through whatever it is that you're trying to sew or do whatever. And finally, last tool on this end, can opener. Let's see how this works. It actually punctured through easily, cutting through easily. I won't bore you guys with me opening the entire can, but it's definitely opened it up. I did want to let you guys know that can opener can also be used as a bottle opener. All right, the other end, we got the screwdriver and then the rope cutter. So let's just see how it does here. It feels like I got pretty good leverage. And I think that screwdriver would work in a pinch. All right, let's try this rope cutter here. It should go through this stuff here, no problem at all. I'll be shocked if it gets through this yellow rope. Yeah, I had to pull really hard. Again, I'm not an expert on using a rope cutter like this, so maybe there's a technique that I don't know of. But I mean, it looks like you're just supposed to put it in here and then pull, but yeah, I have to really pull hard to get that to cut. It does do it, but let's try this stuff here. Like when I cut this off, like the main piece, I use a utility knife or razor knife, and it takes like 3 or 4 pulls on that, so I doubt that this is going to get through this. Actually, it did, and I think I just figured out the technique. You basically pull and kind of wiggle at the same time. So you put it up in here, and you can start hearing it getting through it. I'm actually pretty impressed with that. I do have to pull pretty hard though. I'm going to see if the knife blade will cut through this. I don't have a whole lot here in my hand, but we'll... That actually did really, really, really well. Very few knives that I have that I test this with can get through that in one pull. Very impressed with that. I'm gonna try just a couple more things here. I got a zip tie. Again, I'm just gonna see if it cuts through it and how hard I have to pull. It kind of slid down, but it did not go through. There it did. I'm gonna try the scissors with the zip tie. Oh yeah, nothing. I tell you what, that knife blade and the scissor blades are actually really, really good. Let's see how the knife blade does with a little bit of wood here. And the last thing I'm going to test is this really thick rubber heater hose with the knife blade. I would like to see how hard I have to push and how many times it takes to get through it. Almost did not make it all the way through it though. It could have been me, but there it did. I also look at the cleanness of the cut. If you decide you want to carry this in your pocket, that is what that's going to look like. Or you can carry it on the outside of your belt and it will not move. That belt clip is really tight on there. Like, you don't have to worry about that thing like accidentally falling off or anything. So I obviously just got this multi-tool and I can't tell you, how durable it's going to be, how well it's going to hold up to use and abuse. But my initial impressions right now is this thing is really, really nice. I didn't really show it earlier, but that G10 handle, it's almost like a micarta. It's textured. It's actually somewhat soft. It has like these grooves in it, and it provides plenty of traction once that's in your hand. Knife blade did awesome on everything. Scissors actually did really well too. One thing I want to show you on the scissors here, when you go to open them up, they don't lock in place. No matter what you do, they won't lock. So what you have to do is move this forward and then move this over, and then that liner lock pops over. I'm not sure why the design is that way, but you have to do that. And then they fold easily. But yeah, every time you go to open them, they will not lock until you actually open the scissors, and then they lock in place. But yeah, with my initial testing here, again, I'm impressed with it. I think the build quality seems really good. For the most part, every tool works as it's supposed to. I did not try out that glass breaker, so I can't verify that. But if I had any suggestions for improvement at all, I like how the tools on this end lock in place here, and you have to push that down to unlock them. I kind of wish the tools on this end did the same thing instead of this slip joint that they have. Again, it snaps in pretty well, and when I was using the screwdriver, it didn't seem like it was going to move or anything like that. But I would just be more secure if that actually locked in. Again, I don't know the engineering behind this. Maybe they can't do it for some reason. But again, that's just a suggestion, not really a complaint, because overall I think this thing is fantastic and would definitely recommend it. So these are available on Amazon. They're coming in right around $20, which I think is a fantastic price. So if you're looking for a multi-tool and you don't need pliers, this might be a good choice for you. And I will leave that Amazon link down in the video description in case you guys want to find out more information on the multi-tool. I think there's about 30 reviews, so if you want to look over any of those, you can, or if you want to pick one up. But alright guys, if you found the video helpful or informative in any way, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And that's going to be it on this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.